Let's rewind the clock. It's 1798. America, a fledgling nation, fears war with France. Congress, in a flurry of anxiety, passes the Alien and Sedition Acts. These laws, aimed at suspected French sympathizers, were controversial from the start. The Alien Enemies Act, a key part of this package, gives the president extraordinary power. It allows the detention and deportation of non-citizens from enemy nations during wartime. Think about that. Deportation based solely on citizenship, not any alleged wrongdoing. Fast forward to the 21st century. The Alien Enemies Act remains on the books, a relic of a bygone era. Its use has been rare, primarily during periods of declared war like World War II. But now in 2025, President Trump has dusted off this old law, and he's using it in a way that's sending shockwaves through the legal system and dividing the nation. The target? Alleged members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Trump, invoking the Alien Enemies Act, claims these individuals pose a threat to national security. He calls it a time of war, painting a picture of an invasion orchestrated by Venezuelan President Maduro. On March 15th, despite a temporary restraining order from a federal judge, the Trump administration deported 261 people to El Salvador. Among them, 137 were removed under the Alien Enemies Act. The administration insists these deportations occurred before the court order was expanded, a claim disputed by legal groups. This action has ignited a firestorm of controversy. Critics accuse Trump of fear-mongering and using the gang threat as a pretext to target immigrants. They argue that the Alien Enemies Act, a wartime measure, has no place in peacetime. The situation is further complicated by a $6 million payment the Trump administration made to El Salvador. This payment, critics say, is a bribe to take back individuals the U.S. wants to expel, regardless of their guilt or innocence. The ACLU and other legal groups aren't standing idly by. They've filed lawsuits challenging the legality of Trump's actions. Their argument is clear. Using the Alien Enemies Act against Venezuelan nationals based on alleged gang affiliation is a gross abuse of power. Enter U.S. District Judge James Boasberg. He issued a temporary restraining order putting a halt to further deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. Boasberg argues that the law, designed for wartime, doesn't apply in this situation. He also questioned the administration's claim that the deportations occurred before his order. The Justice Department, under the leadership of Attorney General Pam Bondi, has pushed back hard. They claim the D.C. court lacks jurisdiction, and that the president's actions are not subject to judicial review. They argue that the gang's activities, which they say are directed by Maduro, constitute irregular warfare, justifying the use of the Alien Enemies Act. The legal battle is far from over. The D.C. Circuit Court has ordered a response to the emergency motion to stay Judge Boasberg's ruling, setting the stage for a high-stakes showdown. At the heart of this debate lies a fundamental question. Is America under attack by Venezuelan gangs, justifying Trump's extraordinary actions? Or is this a case of presidential overreach, using a flimsy pretext to target immigrants and bypass established legal processes? The Trump administration, through officials like White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, insists that the gang's activities pose an existential threat. They point to violence and instability in Venezuela, arguing that Maduro is exporting chaos to the United States. But critics aren't buying it. They argue that while gang violence is a real problem, it doesn't constitute an invasion as defined by the Alien Enemies Act. They accuse Trump of using inflammatory rhetoric to stoke fear and division for political gain. The debate has spilled over into the public sphere. Supporters of Trump's actions applaud his tough stance on immigration and national security. Opponents see it as a dangerous erosion of civil liberties, warning of the slippery slope towards authoritarianism. As the legal battle rages on, the nation watches and waits. The outcome of this case will have far-reaching consequences, shaping the future of presidential power, immigration policy, and the very definition of national security.